Hey, you hear me?
Yeah, yeah. How old are you?
24.
Okay. Are you against GAY people?
I am.
Okay, why?
I think it's self-defeating. I think it defeats society long term.
How does it defeat society long term?
The simple action prevents new children from being born, and you need a birth rate of about 2.1, at least according to the UN and World
Okay,
Economic
well,
Forum, to sustain your economy.
straight people are still always going to exist and they're still likely always going to have children. And even if you don't have them, you also have the bisexuals who are still able to have children because they're still able to date people of the opposite sex. The same thing applies to pansexuals, omnisexuals, really non-binary people, really any gender identity, really. So I don't think we're going to have a decrease in birth rates because of being gay anytime soon.
I mean, you live in England, right?
Yeah, but the birth rate has already been decreasing, but that's because of contraception and also because people are trying to work more instead of having babies like immediately when they're 18.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that. There's definitely more than just one factor affecting the birth rate. It's
Yeah,
one of
but
the
also
bigger
yeah.
issues facing the world right now. But I
Yeah,
mean,
but I
like,
don't think I wouldn't say that my sexuality is defeating society just because I don't want to have kids.
well,
And
I mean,
to
the
be
simple action of promoting it will defeat society long term because now you're
well,
promoting
no,
a social
because
behavior that literally does not produce children.
promoting it doesn't mean that we're like making people change their attraction because this attraction isn't something that's chosen. What we're promoting is a normalization of our sexuality so we don't have to get, tormented over it. So, like, for example, me, so I don't have to get like rocks thrown at my head just because I don't conform to the social norm.
Well, I'm
That's
not
what we
advocating
want. We just want
for rocks being
respect.
thrown
We're
at
not
people.
defeating society though.
Yeah, I'm not advocating for rocks being thrown at people. If you promote a certain behavior on a societal level, more people are going to do it, even if they don't necessarily feel
We're
that
not
attraction to
like
fit
we're
in.
not promoting it necessarily. We're promoting the normalization of it. We're not
Well,
promoting people to do it or to become it. We're just promoting people to respect us, and that
yeah,
it's
but if,
okay if we are this way. It's okay if we deviate.
yeah, but
That's all we're
if you
doing.
normalize a behavior, you make it more socially acceptable. More people are
Yeah, but
going
that
to
doesn't
do
mean
it.
that
That's the
that behavior will
entailment.
always like. It doesn't mean that behavior once it's normalized will become a problem.
Yeah, yeah, it does, especially if you promote it among children, which at least in America that was what was happening before Trump got elected.
Okay,
Um,
why is it bad to teach children that it's okay to love who you want to love?
why is it bad to teach children? I mean, firstly, the parents have every single right to say no. I don't want my children to be taught that.
So you don't want
Secondly,
children to be taught that they can love who they want?
well, yeah, yeah, well, parents have a right to their children, do they not? They have authority over them.
Do you mind if I just say something?
Uh,
Gail, do you not think that, teaching your child, uh, you know, because becoming GAY is can be caused from hormones and many biological uh like uh conveniences. So if suddenly all of a sudden your child is feeling these certain ways, they are feeling GAY, then and you don't teach that to them, they're not gonna feel comfortable.
well,
You
I mean,
do you
I mean,
think that sorry, can I ask you a question?
yeah, just
do you do you think that opening your children to to being what they want to be and feeling how they feel, uh not like, sorry, I'm phrasing this really badly.
yeah, I'm like lost in the sauce, man. You gotta make it more concise,
Yeah.
please.
um so yes, so you know what, actually no, don't worry, I'll be back in a minute.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, well,
I'll
I
just
mean,
go on.
like the normalization of a behavior, even if you're not necessarily saying you have to be GAY. Obviously, I don't think you're saying that. But I mean, if you normalize behavior, regardless, more people are going to do it, even if they don't necessarily have that attraction. I mean, right now we have the highest rates of people identifying as LGBT, at least according to the Equal Rights
Yeah, because we
Foundation. I
just
think it's
learn
one
well
out of
because
five
people are learning that it's
Generation Z.
okay. I don't.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
it's a
because people
promotion
are
of the
learning that it's
behavior, and it
okay.
starts at the children. I mean, Italian Marxist theorist Gramsci talks about this. He literally talks about, yeah, you need to promote Marxism and whatever social behavior you want at the education level. So
Wait,
when
what?
you're
What?
yeah, when you talk about, for example, hey, we're gonna have same or I guess schmex education in schools. Yeah, you're promoting that behavior that is acceptable. It's okay, if not socially preferable in some situations. Obviously, if you're like at least in America, if you're in a leftist state, yeah, it is actually preferable to be some variation of LGBT.
Yeah, it should be recognized as more okay because it's not really harming anyone.
It is. It's harming on a societal level. Again, it drops the
How?
birth rate.
Okay, but then the problem with me is that the birth rate is going to be decreasing anyway, and sexuality isn't the main factor that's driving that. So why would we act as if that's wrong, especially when sexuality isn't something that you can choose? Why should we blame people as if it's a conscious choice they can make?
This might seem unrelated, but do you want the UK to be like a Muslim majority country?
Oh, wait, that feels like a racist sentiment because people usually say that. Anyway,
Well,
I don't
I'm
mind.
not trying to be racist here. I'm just wondering, like, do you want that? Because that's literally
I
what's
don't
happening right now.
I don't mind if that happens.
Yeah, but I mean, Muslims are not all of them, obviously, but at least a majority of them that I've at least spoken to, and majority of them, at least if you look at polling, especially who come from these, Muslim majority nations, they are against LGBT.
Oh yeah, but I'm trying to challenge the notion of, and also like, yeah, I'm trying to challenge the notion of them, hating our identities because there's nothing wrong with it. But there's nothing wrong with them coming to this country.
Yeah, but I mean, if you want to promote this behavior, I mean, firstly, the birth rate is like 1.57 right now, at least what I have pulled up right now, according to what's the site? Give me 1 second. Office for National Statistics. That's a UK government organization. It's like 1.57, and then compared to Muslim birth rates in the UK, it's 3. And like I'm
Oh
saying
yeah, because
before,
that
like a
religion
lot of these
pushes
immigrants, they're
for.
teaching their kids anti-LGBT propaganda.
Yeah, I'm not really okay with them teaching their kids to be, anti-LGBTQ plus, but um, even so, I'm still gonna fight against it. But I'm
What
still fine with
people?
them coming into the country.
Yeah, but
Them
what?
coming into the country is completely different than like their ideology.
How is it different? I mean, if you're importing people
Because
who hold
coming
this,
because immigration is
sure.
not the same as holding an ideology. For example, Jamaican people have came over to the UK for quite a while now, but their ideologies of Christianity and then them actually traveling to the UK are completely separate discussions. Their worship and what they do with their religion is not necessarily a public matter, it's a private matter because it's only what they believe. So they're completely different things. The reason for immigrating as well is also going to be completely different from their ideology. Their reasons for immigration is likely not going to be tied within their ideology, unless for some reason their religion says you must immigrate to another country for a better life or something like that.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're promoting a behavior that's going to decrease the birth rate, I mean, what a nation is going to have to do at that point is import foreigners, which is what the UK is doing. That's
Oh,
what the US
okay,
was doing for a while. A lot
and
of the European Union
okay,
was
and
doing
I'm
that.
fine. I'm fine with foreigners though.
Can I just say something?
Yeah, even those who
Gail,
are
I
like
didn't.
culturally not who are not going to gel with British culture.
What?
Like even those who are not going to gel with British culture, like a lot of these Muslim who are coming in. Now, I'm not saying all the Muslims, but a lot of them are not gelling in with British culture.
What do you mean by gelling in?
Like I mean, being able to properly assimilate into Britain.
Many have. I have a Muslim friend and they've integrated perfectly fine. So many Muslim people can integrate into society.
Sure. What about the
Um,
ones who are like what happened with King Charles recently? He was talking about happy Ramadan to people.
Who cares about the royal family? Actually, no British person cares about the royal family. I'm so sorry. Like, no one cares about the royal family. No one cares. Like, no one
That's not
does.
what I've
No
seen.
English person really
I mean,
does.
maybe you
also,
not care.
Gail,
Maybe your Muslim friend, obviously, he may integrate correctly, but I'm talking about on a societal
You,
level.
Gail, I need to ask you a question.
Sure.
Is your ideology on society based around the fact that uh, people have to have children to be able to genuinely continue society as a
Yeah, I
whole?
mean that's like an obvious descriptive reality of society is if you want a society to continue, that society needs to produce children.
Okay, Gail. So I'm sure you've heard over the news recently that scientists believe that there was 8 billion people on the planet. That's absolutely rocketed from 8 million to 12 million. So 12 million billion. So and especially in modern day society, the ideology around what we're supposed to do is we're supposed to accept people for the way they are. Um, that should be a thing that you should be doing. The fact that people are gay shouldn't be a problem to you. You should accept that. You should accept they have feelings, they have emotions, and they are they are going that way. Plus, there are options such as adoption and
IVF and
many.
surrogacy.
There are also many, yeah, that one too. So creating children is not really a problem in society. It's not something we're focusing on, because I think 12 billion people is way more than enough, and especially because a lot of people, a lot of families, especially according to what you're saying based on your statistics, with more like Muslim immigrants that have came to the UK, they if they have some sort of rate of, like, I think it was like three or something, just
Yeah,
somewhere
about
around three.
three.
If
Three
they're
kids per
having if
family.
they're having three children, they're providing as much as three families having one child. There's that, if we're going by that rate, and there are also multiple families around the planet that also want more than one children. So
Especially poor countries.
creating children is not an issue. It's not a thing we need to focus on in today's modern society. It's about
That's
accepting people for who they are.
Yeah, that's where I'm just gonna disagree with you. I mean, firstly, like I said before, I don't know if you guys have read the Quran. The Quran's very explicit in its condemnation of LGBT. It's considered haram. It's literally considered, at least in some Islamic societies, punishable by unaliving. Secondly, I mean, you're talking about this tolerance thing. I mean, I'm just gonna hit you with the paradox of tolerance. Should if we have to be tolerant of everyone, should we also be intolerant of intolerant people? If yes, then obviously you're going to produce a society of intolerance. If no, then you're going to have to use intolerance. Thirdly, to go back to the birth rate argument, yeah, you literally need children to have your society sustain itself, essentially. Because if you don't have enough children, you're not going to have enough people to be workers and doctors and whatever else you need in society, right? Like all the different occupations are not going to be fulfilled. That means you're going to have a shrinking economy as a result, which then is going to tie back to more economic hardships, which is going to lower the population even more. So yeah, you're
The
not going
thing
to
is
sustain a
though that
society.
overpopulation. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, well, I'm finishing up. Like if you don't have enough children in a society, that society won't sustain itself. I mean, you can look at countries like South Korea, for example, or China, who are going to have massive population drops.
Yeah, but that's not because of sexuality. That's because they have an aging population. So this is a completely different issue. The issue is not sexuality. The issue is the aging population. And also, overpopulation is the issue because if we have overpopulation, you know what's going to happen? There's going to be fields that are saturated. Well, actually, there are too many fields that are already saturated already, like psychology and, being a lawyer. Those fields are saturated. And the more people we have and the more jobs that we are giving to people, the more fields that are going to eventually be saturated. And that's also going to damage the economy because you can't give as much to these people as before because of these saturated fields. This is why, like, people who want to go into, becoming a lawyer or becoming a psychologist, people think that these are really well-paid jobs. But the truth is, that's only if you're at the top because these fields are so saturated because they have so much people within them. The people who actually enter those fields and manage to get a job are barely getting paid. So with the more people that we get, we're only going to have a problem. And I think this is a big problem, especially in the poorer countries where they have even less money and they get paid even less. Oversaturations in fields like industrial work, which is, very common because, rich countries like exploiting the poor people. In those countries, those people are going to get paid even less than they are now if the population keeps on growing and that field keeps on getting saturated more and more. So overpopulation is actually doing more harm than anyone's sexuality is. The declining birth rate would probably benefit the economy more, especially if, especially if we don't have this problem of especially if we don't have this problem of saturation. If the saturation goes down, then the economy will benefit from this.
I mean, are you like a Malthusian?
But what's that?
Like someone who believes that dropping population is actually good?
Oh, I don't know if I'd attach a label to it, but I'm suggesting the possibility. But also the problem with me, and let me not say a problem. The problem with not problem. The thing with me is that I also don't care about the declining birth rates. Because even if society ends as a result, I don't really care about that. I don't think I want to sacrifice my sexuality just for the sake of society, just to continue. Because I know that society will continue without me, regardless of my sexuality. And I don't think that I alone must be responsible to continue it when I know that other people are doing that just fine.
I mean, do you have like do you have like a do you have like a special value for human life? Like, do you think human life is special and valuable?
Um, I don't think it's inherently valuable. I see a value in life, but I also don't
I
care
mean,
if society as a whole, like every single human, I don't care if all humans go extinct. That wouldn't matter to me because we're not there to experience the extinction.
I
And
mean,
also
I
we've
don't.
caused enough damage to the planet
I'll
already.
be honest with you. I don't see how we can continue this conversation then. If you're not going to hold like that's like an axiomatic value, I just don't see the point in continuing because we're just going to just disagree with each other on every single point. It's going to come down back to this point of does human life have special value? Yes or no? So
Well, even if I say that it does have value, that
yeah,
doesn't mean that.
if you say if it does have value, then at that point, I mean, you're going to have to see them beyond this argument that the declining birth rate is bad because there's going to be less humans.
Well, yeah, I attach a value to human life, but I don't care if the human life that we have automatically decreases. If someone dies, obviously like that's upsetting. But then if it's by like unnatural means, like we're harming each other, that's when I'm gonna like start caring more. And then if we all go extinct again, there's nothing really to say if we all go extinct because what will happen then? Nothing will happen. The Earth will just be the Earth and continue without us.
Yeah,
I
and
don't
that's
think it will matter. And I
that's
don't
what I
think we should
mean.
sacrifice sexuality
That's what
just
I
for the
mean.
sake of
This is
society.
just a fundamental difference we have then, and I mean, again, like we're just not going to agree ultimately. You know what I mean? Like that's why I'm just like probably shouldn't have this conversation then. Nothing against you or the other guys, just like there's just not really a point in having this conversation then.
Maybe, but hey, at least we tried.